Capricorn, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for, well, whenever you find it, really. It's a general reading, and look, it could be for today, tomorrow, next year. It might resonate today. Whenever it's going to resonate is whenever it's going to resonate. It may not resonate at all, but look, there could be things in the archive that didn't seem to resonate at the time that you were watching them either, because maybe you weren't in that place in your life. So take it for whatever it is. This is a general reading, and that's what we are here for. We're here to read generally. So Capricorn, I hope that you are well. Look, we're like this far away from being in your season, right? And so those of you who have had a really great Sagittarius season, maybe you have a Sag placement, pretty soon you will be in Capricorn season, and Mars has shown up in your sign, my friends. So it's going to be a spicy season for you. It sure is. Look, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you all about private reads and extendeds if you're interested in that. I just want to say thank you so much for the ways that you've been showing up for me this year, Capricorn. This has been the biggest tribe I've had at 10 of Cups Tarot for Capricorn energy, and I'm really grateful. You're showing up as the other Earth energy. I'm a Taurus, you're a Capricorn, you're my sister, you're my Earth cousin, and so I'm appreciative for you. If you're brand new and you're here, I hope that you will stay. And if you are a person that keeps coming back, you're my ride or die. Thanks for doing that. All right, let's get to it. Let's find out what's going on. This week we've been doing a 9-card draw. That's what's been tickling my brain. Let's find out what is going on for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about Capricorn. What is it that Capricorn needs to know? Tell me about Capricorn. We've got the 9 of Swords. You got something on your mind here? Feels like you're worried about the new year or worried about what's coming up in the near future here. Tell me about the 9 of Swords. We've got the 10 of Cups. You could be worried about your happiness. Am I going to be happier in the new year? Am I going to be happier now that we're almost at the end of this cycle, right? The 9 is here. Now that we're almost at the end of this cycle, is the next cycle going to be any happier? You could be worried about family things. Children, possibly. Tell me more. We've got the High Priestess. Whatever your worries are, Capricorn, I think you're keeping them to yourself, which is not unlike you. I feel like you're keeping them silent, keeping them to yourself, trying to work it out internally. I feel like it is time for you to really listen to your inner voice, I'm going to say. I want to say that you have a lot of knowledge. It's like this is 2026 for you is starting out as the year of the unfolding for you, because I feel like you're no longer following along. And it's not like you were ever following along. I mean, you are a leader. You're a leadership sign, right? You start the solstice. You're a leadership sign. I feel like up till now, maybe you're someone who has been very I'm going to say, I'm doing this because I feel like you've just been trying to keep everything in balance, that maybe when something goes wrong or someone says something that you don't necessarily agree with, or they do something you don't necessarily agree with, that you haven't really been saying anything. It could be a family thing. It could be people who feel like family. Maybe they're friends. Maybe we're talking about your relationship. But I feel like even though you have worries about the type of relationship we have, or we have internal worries about this 10 of Cups, really haven't been saying anything with my outside voice. Tell me more about Capricorn. We have, see, the King of Cups tells me you're keeping it all under the surface, that you feel a certain way about the way things are going, but rather than making waves, you're trying to work it out for yourself. You're trying to work out the worry yourself. And I want to say that this King of Cups energy tells me that you're keeping it under wraps because you're emotionally intelligent. Until you have the right answer, until you can find a way to say it or portray whatever you're trying to portray, or say whatever you're trying to say, until you can say it with emotional intelligence, which means not popping off, I think you're just going to keep it under the surface here. We've got the Chariot. We've got the Ace of Cups. It does feel like it has something to do with the heart space. And I think that's why you're being really careful. It feels like something needs to move forward here, and it's not. It feels like you're worried because we haven't really talked about it. The King of Cups is here. We haven't really talked about it. I've been thinking about it. I really need to get some victory in the Ace of Cups. There needs to be some sort of balance here. It feels like the worry is about something that is emotional, like deeply emotional. And so I feel like that's why you haven't really said anything out loud about it, because it is really deeply emotional. There's something here that you're keeping tucked under the surface, until which time you can balance your energy, balance your emotions, or find discipline. Like the King of Cups has discipline in their emotions, right? Until you can find the right level by which you can say it, or say it without feeling like you're going to have everything flow out the top here with the Ace of Cups. I feel like you're going to keep it to yourself. It has to do with your happiness and something that you're deeply emotional about. And I feel like you're worried about both of those things. We've got the Seven of Wands. We've got the Five of Wands. And we've got the Four of Cups. It really does feel like you're here protecting what is yours, or protecting your feelings, protecting someone else's feelings. Like you don't want to hurt somebody by saying something quickly, something you may regret. 4 and 1 cup is 5. It feels like I feel like you think that that whatever emotion, whatever thing is making you feel deeply emotional is not quite in balance. And I think you want to bring it into balance, but you're, this energy of you being in the tug and pull with yourself here is, I'm not really sure if I should say something. Will it tip the cart? Will it tip the chariot? I'm not really sure if I should say something about it. So I think that your comfort zone is to stay in the tug and pull with yourself and to protect your energy, or protect whatever is deeply emotional. Because I feel like if you speak about your emotions and you let them all pour out the top, that you're scared that that's going to topple the cart. That's what it feels like. I'm going to put down 2 cards here. We're going to talk about what is what is underneath that you can't see. We've got the 3 of Cups. This all turns out better than you think it does. And we've got the Page of Swords. It feels like something here is, if you should be brave enough to be curious about digging for information, I think this works out way better than you think it will. The 3 of Cups is happiness. It's celebration. It's joy. It might be in a group of people. We could be talking about a soul tribe. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship, but the Page of Swords tells me that somebody here needs to be curious enough to speak the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. The Page of Swords is a child. The Page of Swords doesn't really have a great command of their intellectual voice. And so I may say it, but maybe I say it and it's a little choppy, or I shake when I say it, or I don't say it in the right words. I think that that's probably what you're worried about. That if I do say it, I bring my concern to the surface about the relationship, about the job I feel like don't feel very settled in. It feels like somebody here is worried about the outcome. I think that what's under the surface, what you don't see, is that things end up working out better than you think they will. Tell me about this 10 of Cups. Tell me about this 10 of Cups, because it seems like this 10 of Cups is like in a place that is a bit wobbly, I would say. The Chariot needs to be solid, disciplined, and in balance in order to be able to move forward to the victory. It is quick-moving energy. And listen, if you put stuff in the Chariot and you don't keep it in balance, everything is going to be everywhere. It's going to topple, right? So tell me what this 10 of Cups is. We've got the 4 of Swords. We've got the Hanged Man. And we've got the 3 of Swords. You know what I think it is, Capricorn? Am I really happy? I think that's what you're going through. You know what it is? It does feel like Mars is already doing its thing. It's destruction, right? It's sort of pulling apart the things that maybe you were a little bit iffy on and forcing you to reconstruct or re-look at things. really look at them with a sharp clarity. What am I going to do from here? So I think that the Hanged Man showing up on the Ten of Cups is telling me I need a perspective. As I'm going into the new year, am I as happy as I could be? Because the Three of Swords is here, and it tells me that you're enduring some sort of disappointment as it pertains to the Ten of Cups. That could mean that you're in a relationship that you're not sure is going the way you want it to. You're maybe in a job that you're not sure you're really happy at. This is like the last couple of weeks of the end of the year, and it feels like somebody here is trying to make a decision about how am I going to begin the new year. I think that you are in this moment of deciding, do I keep it under the surface for another year? The 4 and the 3 is 7. 7 of Swords, that is deception, or something that is concealed or under the surface. And so I think what's concealed is, I think on the surface, you're showing everybody that everything's fine. You're giving them the Facebook face. It's fine. It's all fine. But underneath the surface, you're really wondering, where is it that I go from here? What do I do from here? Because you're going to upset the cart. You're about to upset the cart. Tell me what you're hiding under the surface here. The King of Cups is here. Tell me why you're deeply emotional, and you're deeply emotionally worried about something that you've been guarding, my friend. We've got the King of Wands. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. Interesting. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Will I be better off alone? Or will I be better off if I just dig in and make this work as a long-term, whatever it is, relationship, job, whatever the situation is? I'm looking at the King of Wands and the King of Cups. To me as a reader, whenever I always see fire on water, to me that's temperance. And so it tells me that something needs to be healed or needs to come into balance, or a moment of alchemy is upon you, where you have to stop going back and forth, that it's time you made a decision. 9 of Pentacles is here. I'm not going to discount that it came up by itself, right? 9 of Pentacles is here. That is someone who does something by themselves, builds something alone, becomes stronger, has a glow up, saving money, becoming confident, building reputation. You're building something alone, but then we add the Ace of Pentacles. So I think what you're doing here is what you're trying to bring into balance in this moment of alchemy is that you are wondering, will I be better off if I stay where I am? Or will I be better off placing my pentacle or investing it somewhere else where I'll end up having the dividends to myself, instead of sharing my time, efforts, and energy with something I don't really have a perspective on? Ultimately, I think what's happening here is you're keeping something under the surface because you're not sure of the answer. And once you have the answer, that's when you're probably going to say it. So you're in indecision about something here. Let's talk about that. What is Capricorn in indecision about? Because this tells me that right now you're in the lurking stage. You're watching happiness. You're sort of viewing or observing happiness from a distance. What should it look like? Maybe you're observing other people in your group that are happy, and you're wondering if you're at the level of happy that you want. Tell me about the 5 of Wands. Why are you in indecision? We've got the 6 of Cups. We've got the Empress. There you go. Alice in Wonderland I'm talking about. Remember, I don't know if you've seen Alice in Wonderland, but she outgrew, like she got bigger and bigger. You're outgrowing the vibration. That's the first thing I saw in my head is Alice in Wonderland. There it is, the 8 of Swords. I feel like you're outgrowing something. So you're outgrowing a vibration somewhere. You could be outgrowing a vibration, period. Sometimes this happens in relationships that have been together years, decades, in fact, where one person, when they get into the relationship, they think things will never change, and the other person begins to change and grow and begins to change their vibration, begins to learn new things. They become more open-minded, begin to change, and the other person sees that as a threat upon the person who is like they want to stay still, stagnant. And so I feel like somebody here is outgrowing their environment. This isn't enough for me anymore. I'm now more self-aware. I'm now more aware emotionally. I'm aware more mentally. The trouble comes in with the 6 of Cups is that we have a lot of history. We have a lot of history or a lot of nostalgia together. We've been friends since we were teenagers. We've been lovers since, for the last 3 decades or 2 decades. And I feel like the Empress here, whether feminine or masculine, a male or a female, somebody here is outgrowing their environment, and the other person that they're with or the environment that they're in sees it as a threat that you are growing. Because the Eight of Swords is here, and the Eight of Swords is a place where you put yourself. Nobody puts you there. And so I feel like you are wanting to step fully into your Empress energy here, Capricorn, but you are in the Eight of Swords because you know you're going to have to leave someone, something, a situation, or an environment behind, and you're not quite ready to do that. That's what it feels like here. Let's talk about this Ace of Cups here, because I feel like you're trying to... I feel like you're think that you're going to regret making some type of decision. I feel like the Ace of Cups, yes, is the beginning of a new cycle, but understand it's also the beginning of you getting out of the King of Cups energy and allowing it all to pour out the top. So that means you're going to say something about how you feel about the situation. So tell me about the Ace of Cups here, because it is going to start a new cycle, yes, but it's the love of self. You can no longer keep yourself contained because you love yourself now enough to make a change or to say something out loud or to tell somebody how you feel. We've got the Sun. There's the breakthrough. Can't write that stuff. There's the Queen of Wands. She's making the big, bold move independently. And we talked about Temperance. The fire in the water was right here. So it does feel like somebody here is needing to make a change, a bold move. The Queen of Wands is somebody who is resilient and has fallen 100 times and gotten up 101. This person is someone who has earned their place on the throne because they're the Phoenix Rising. They're the person who it's all burnt down to the ground around them 100 times and they were able to rise every time. So I feel like the Sun here is a breakthrough. It feels like you're getting clarity about who you really are. And the Empress being here tells me that the Queen of Wands is somebody who is independent. For me as a reader, if I get the Empress on the table and then I see another Queen, that's the lesson. That's the lesson that you're working on in order to step into the Empress energy. So someone is either stepping into the Queen of Wands or is learning that they need to step into the Queen of Wands energy in order to be happy. It is a brilliant breakthrough that you're having of where your happiness lies, because the Sun is also happiness. It's great clarity. And the Queen of Wands is here. Maybe from here I need to step out and be independent and do whatever it is that I want to do. And if the rest should catch up, it will. Because the Temperance is here, and I feel like it's time for a moment of alchemy, a moment of clarity, that you're going to have to make some sort of decision. We've got the Three of Pentacles in the reverse, and look, I feel like somebody's foundation is crumbling slowly, and you feel it. You feel the earth shaking under your feet, and you know that you have to make a decision to either reinforce the broken foundation or to step away. We're going to go into the extended. We're going to talk more about this. I'm going to clarify the rest of this. We're going to talk about what's under the surface and how that works out. I feel like it works out better than you think it will, but we'll find out how it works out. If you're interested in the extended, I do those in the membership area. So if you're interested in the extended, please look at the top of the comments. There's one pinned comment. There you will find a link for the membership, and you will get at least 4 extendeds in a month in the membership area. If you just want to see how this works out in the extended, you can purchase this one. There's a link there as well. And I just put on a brand new sale for the pre-recorded reading. So if pre-recorded reading is what you want, if you don't want to be live online with me, the pre-recorded readings are 10% off. There is a code, Happy Solstice, by the way. There is a code in the pinned comment that says Happy Solstice 25. Take that with you to the Hypsee link. Go check out my pricing. If you're interested in anything there, the 10% off will apply on checkout. And yeah, I'm going to leave this right here, and I'm going to go into the extended. And if you would like to join us in the extended, that's where we will be. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Oh, happy new moon to you in Sagittarius as well. I'm going to go for now. Take care. Bye-bye.